Amy? Yes, it is. Oh, hi, this is Kenan. Oh, Kenan? Wait, let me get out the other shoe. Girl, that's who on the line. Oh, yeah. It's Kenan. Woo, you know the one with the little dreadlocks and stuff? All right, girl, get off, bye. I'm back. Yeah, Amy, would you like to go out with me sometime? No.
Hey. It's another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. My name is Adam.
I'm Aaron.
And thank you for joining us for episode 10 of Kenan and Kel Season 1. Dial O for Oops.
This is episode 10 officially, episode 9 unofficially on Amazon. So if you are following along the show and you're confused, it's
dial
okay.
O for Oops. That'll get you to it. They, for some reason, Amazon did approve of last week's episode.
They were not about it. I actually think it's dial 0 for Oops, Adam.
You think so?
Yeah.
I know it. Do you know where the phrase comes from? What they're parodying?
No. But I can tell very clearly on Amazon, it's dial 0, like the figure 0, and then O for Oops.
Well, I'll tell you why you and Amazon are both wrong.
Please tell me.
It's a joke on the Hitchcock film and a couple other properties that follow the format. Dial M for murder. So
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, O for Oops.
Interesting.
M for murder.
Okay. All right. I don't want to get us started on a negative note. I shouldn't have said that.
No.
It's very clever, and I'm glad they brought in Hitchcock to Kenan and Kel. So this is a good segue, good beginning point.
Having seen Dial M for Murder by Hitchcock, this episode has nothing to do with it. Just the fact that there's a phone involved in both of them, that's about it.
And that's okay. We're going to dive in right after a little bit of an introduction. I want everybody to try an experiment for me. Tomorrow, I want you to take your phone, turn it off, put it in the top drawer of your desk or dresser, and leave it there without checking it for the entire day. Of course, you won't do this, and nobody will, not even me. 21st century humans are more like cyborgs than Homo sapiens. The invention of the smartphone changed everything about how we as a collective and as individuals interact with the world around us. It's slowly changing every professional environment too, from offices to schools to restaurants. We've grown dependent on technology. Now, Elon Musk and Neuralink say with confidence they can merge artificial life with the human brain. We seem to be on an upward trajectory as a species, one with seemingly no limit. But it's hard for us to remember the past and how we got here. Kids today are given smartphones at 6 years old and can't imagine a different world. But there was a different world. A world where you couldn't communicate with someone far away without sending a letter, or a messenger, or a pigeon. Then there was a world with telegrams which used Morse code and a translator. But then, after thousands of years of almost no global communication, Sir Alexander Graham Bell changed the world. He invented the telephone. Nothing was ever the same again. These phones looked a lot different than our smartphones today. They were mechanical and had separate earpieces and microphones. As time went on, of course, technology kept improving as it does. Features started being added to phones like push buttons and extension cords. One addition that changed the game again was the answering machine. While I never grew up without a beeping answering machine, many in the future will. They won't get to experience the excitement of a new message, the joy of having somebody call just for you, a message from grandma, a message from your best friend, even a message from Santa Claus during the holidays. It was the first thing you would check when getting back from a long day, and it brought you back to reality. But the answering machine, and eventually voicemail, is permanent. You can't erase what was said. You have to live with the message you left. For our love-drunk friend Kenan Rockmore, it might have been better if the answering machine and the telephone was never invented at all. Did I jump too soon on that?
No, that's great.
Okay.
You undersold that. That was a whole lot of an introduction. That was a...
Well, what can I say?
Yeah, I learned so much about phones.
I come from humble beginnings, yes. So, as does the telephone.
All right, let's get into the episode. Kenan and Kel emerge on center stage.
I like that word, emerge.
Yeah.
That's very good for how they show up on stage.
Did you notice what Kenan's wearing?
I love Kenan's shirt. It looks like a Flyers jersey. We're from Philly, so Flyers are orange and black and white. That's pretty much what it looks like, except it's a sweatshirt, and it has a funny-looking face on it.
It's like kind of like a smirk. It's the same one that he wears in the theme song in the beginning.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
I like knew it on sight.
Oh, did you? I didn't notice.
Kel's wearing something totally different, though. Yeah,
Kel's got a nice jacket going. Nice. It's actually kind of funny. The solid colors with like the other solid trim, right? So Kenan's wearing an orange shirt with white and black trim. Kel's wearing a black shirt with white and blue trim. So it's very much like very 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've yet to. I think the show eventually gets to a point where I'm like comfortable with what they're wearing. We're not there yet.
Not yet. Kel starts talking about this movie that he saw called Fat Baby Jenkins.
I heard Fat Baby Jake.
Okay, it's very possible.
But
I think it is Fat Baby Jake. How embarrassing of me.
You know what? I wrote down Fat Baby Jenkins too, but then he talks about the baby named Jake. So I guess we could...
Jake Jenkins.
Yeah, Jake Jenkins has to be his name.
There should definitely be a spin-off of this by now.
Yeah. Well, they've really been filling out the whole, like, cinema catalog of Kenan and Kel.
It's true.
Yeah, they talk about, like, the sad dog movie and the... just constant references.
Hemingway. And then in the Hemingway episode, it was like the intro of our podcast. It was Ernie. Do it for Ernie or whatever it is.
So Cal keeps wanting to talk about this movie he saw, but Kenan wants to get the show on the road. So what does Kenan do?
Kenan takes out his cellular device and he calls Cal, and Cal answers his phone and says hello, and Kenan says something. That isn't that important, but he basically just yells at him.
Yeah, he shouts, like, listen to me, man. Just come on, let's see the show. Did you notice that Kenan has both their phones?
No, I didn't notice that.
It's a funny gag because he first takes out Kel's phone, puts it in his hand, then he takes out his.
Oh, that is funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
That's early cell phone humor. Like, calling somebody in the right next to you or in the same room as you.
Yeah.
And now that's common. If you're in a place together, you text the other person.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can text someone next to you. But I think it would be the same joke if you handed someone their phone then called them nowadays.
It would. It would be very similar.
So then Kenan receives a call for something that they have to do, and then he runs off stage.
Yep, they have business to take care of. Da-da-da-da.
I feel like the later episodes get less cryptic with the intros and outros.
Yeah, very much.
Tell you exactly what's going on, and Kenan has the lowdown on the episode.
Yeah, Kenan's still very, almost, ambiguous. Like it could go either way.
They're still forming, and I want to look at this episode under the the lens of, I think this establishes a formula that we go back to a whole lot, later in the show. I would
concur. Is that how you use that phrase?
Yes.
I would concur.
I concur. That's the right phrase.
I would like to concur that statement.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get behind the curtains.
Do.
Yeah. And we zoom in on the Rockmore household, and they don't always have this, but they have the TV out, so you see the back of the TV on the set.
Oh, it's very nice.
It's real neat.
So they're having coffee. It looks like coffee and cake, or tea and cake, and they have guests over. They're all dressed very, very elegantly.
The Dawsons, as they refer to them.
Mr. Dawson is Mr. Rockmore's boss at the airport.
Yeah, what were they just doing? They're so fancy because they went to...
The opera.
Yes.
The Great Chicago Opera. Did you do any research on this? Because I did not.
I did not look at any operas in Chicago in
can't
1996.
We should have.
But I don't think any of the writers did either.
Hey, this show needs to be as accurate as possible. This is
Yeah.
what we're critiquing.
Yeah, so I'm not going to make fun of them because I also did not do any homework on the operas of Chicago either.
Well, me neither, clearly. I just asked the questions. All right, so Adam, tell us some character traits about Mr. Dawson.
Mr. Dawson is Kenan's dad, like, doubled. He's bigger, he's louder, and he's meaner.
But he doesn't ever say anything nice.
No.
Like Mr. Rockmore will be like, a kind, loving husband and father every now and then.
And I think he is in this episode, too.
Yeah, and he'll show some emotions. But Mr. Dawson
is just
not so much.
a loud, angry man.
He likes to yell.
So yeah, they're passing out the last piece of cake to Mrs. Dawson, and Kenan and Kel arrive. And what does Kel do?
Kel runs over, grabs the cake off the hand, sits down, starts eating it.
Yep, just a slice of cake in his hand, which is very funny.
It's a good gag.
So they. I also noticed that Kenan's wearing his blue outfit, his like blue felt one.
Oh yeah, the felt, whatever that style. It's like the fuzzy one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've seen it a couple times now.
Yep. I like that they wear clothes again.
Oh yeah.
But they're not like cartoons necessarily. Like when I watch It's Always Sunny, like they wear the same pretty much the same outfit, especially Charlie and Frank. But they're basically cartoons. But here it's like they're kind of cartoons.
Yeah, you can tell they have a wardrobe, but they didn't have like a wardrobe big enough for every episode to be different.
Yeah, exactly.
What stops Kenan in his tracks?
Oh, should we talk about the joke first?
Oh, you're right. That's way more important.
So, Mr. or Mrs. Rockmore says, Kel, he's sitting on the couch with cake in his hand. Says, Kel, we have guests. And Kel says, what's up? To which Mr. Dawson replies,
many airplanes are up.
And they're like, everybody's kind of like, what? He says, airplanes, many airplanes are up. It's an airport joke. And then Mr. Rockmore starts...
explodes with laughter.
Very authentic and genuine laughter.
Which I love how like the audience and like the people in the scene reacted as like much to that joke as I did in like 2020.
Yeah, like that was never funny. No. He like expected somebody to laugh too, Mm-hmm. That was the funny part. Anyways, like you were saying, Kenan is walking upstairs to leave the Dawsons by themselves, and he is interrupted by a beautiful girl.
Yes, Amy Dawson, the daughter of Mr. Dawson.
Thank you for the full name right there.
It's rare that we know the full name.
That's true.
I even remember Chris's last name.
I don't think Chris has a last name.
I'm sure he does, but he just has the name tag.
We should know this. If anybody should know, we're the Kenan and Kel experts. If anybody should
right.
know this,
we should do this one.
Okay. Anyways, so Kenan, naturally shakes Amy's hand, and doesn't really let go. She's just kind of just shaking it. And then Mr. Dawson is clearly does not want his daughter to have anything to do with Kenan, so they abruptly kind of get up and get ready to leave.
Yep, and in the doorway, Kenan makes some small talk with Amy about the opera.
This is great small talk. I think everybody should get their notepads and pens out and write this one down.
I think it's great because it shows it shows their feelings for each other in a very short way. But yeah, no, Kenan first, says like, oh man, the opera must have been boring, but Amy loved it. And then he's like, oh yeah, I have a favorite opera too.
Yeah, he's like, I love the opera too.
And what does he do?
He starts singing. La 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 la. I don't think he quite get to that. I don't think he quite
the final la is like interrupted.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't get to that last note.
Because Mr. Dawson arrives and he asks, why is he bellowing?
Yeah. They just had to throw that funny word in, bellow.
But it's great because you see Amy's response to, even though Kenan, who like clearly lied to her like a second ago about liking the opera, like entertained her enough that she kind of covers for him, and she's like, oh, he was just singing one of his favorite opera pieces.
Yeah, it seems like she's kind of into Kenan. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's funny. But
Then then the Dawsons leave, and Kenan turns around and he says, what does he say?
I love you.
It's just immediately from the awkward small talk to just full love.
The most profound expression of human intimacy. It's just right there for the taking.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is a really funny moment. So Kenan says, I love you. And then Mr. and Mrs. Rockmore come back inside. And Mr. Rockmore says, oh, we love you too, son. It's just a good moment.
Yeah, because of course they're thinking that he's talking about them, his family, not the girl he met for half a minute.
Yeah, really. It was 30
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah, so Kenan immediately starts to question Mr. Rockmore about Amy, asking if she has a boyfriend or a husband. And she's 15. We confirm.
Yep, and she's the same age as him, which is also confirmed.
Yes, finally. After 10 episodes.
Yeah, but it's important that I think it's a great like Roger moments where he's very like, I think he's understanding and reasonable as a father, even though Kenan doesn't think he's that way, because he's like, look, Mr. Dawson's a bad, angry man, and yeah, and you should like, I don't want him getting mad at you, so don't bother his daughter.
He basically says like, yeah, you don't want to have anything to do with him or her, and Kenan does not like that very much.
Nope, he immediately considers them star-crossed lovers.
Yes, so he walks over in this very poetic gesture. He grabs a pillow from the couch, faces the audience, rocks it back and forth, and he says, Kenan and Amy Rockmore.
To which Cal sees that as he walks down the stairs, and then goes to like throw up. Apparently,
Yeah, he's like vomiting at the sight of true love.
yes,
And that's pretty much what we got for that opening scene.
I think we're back into the realm of efficient scenes. So much happens, and
Yeah,
Just
you're right. It was very, very efficient. It was, and it wasn't too long. Like it was a good amount of time. It wasn't one of those incredibly lengthy first scenes that goes on for like 10 minutes and you're kind of wondering what happened.
now in retrospect, I think this next scene is almost like in comparison unnecessary, because they're just like they're in Rigby's for like up 2 minutes just to say hey to Chris.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So flash forward to Rigby's after a heart transition, and Chris has some notepad that Kenan is writing on, and of course it says Amy, 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 and Chris asks Kenan, or why did you write this? He says, because I'm in love.
I like Kel's answer. Must be about Amy.
Yes.
And Chris is just, you think?
Yeah. What was? I can't read my handwriting about all these all my notes that I took. There was a really funny moment here.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay,
so Kenan talks about how he's been forbidden to be in a relationship with this girl, and Chris says, "Well, you should agree with what your father tells you." Kel says, "Well, I agree with Chris." Then Chris says, "Well, in that case, I must be wrong."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. After that line, Chris has like a very like genuine like little like laugh, like
Yeah, like he's just one of the boys. He's just messing around.
he's got they've done Chris dirty in the past few episodes. Like last episode, he was just a total doof. They didn't get him at all, and this one, it's a small Chris episode, but I really like how he's portrayed. He just feels very real.
Yeah, he's kind of like making fun of them, and then just has a light relationship with them. So at the end of this very brief scene, I think is my favorite line of the episode, where Kenan is talking about how his dad doesn't understand him, how his dad doesn't get how much he loves Amy, and he says, "My dad is married. He doesn't understand what it means to love a woman."
Yeah, favorite Kenan episode, favorite Kenan line of the episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I was cracking up. It's like, exactly.
We go back to the Rockmores after this, but there's one quick note I have about the scene that I want to highlight. As someone that tracks all the damage and things that they steal from Rigby's, I have just in this episode revealed a Rosetta Stone to me. There's a cutaway of Kel like cracking up in front of the not vending machine, like the cooler. Where
the fridge with the
fridge.
Orange soda.
And you see clear as day what the prices are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's so for a can, it's 75 cents.
Oh.
And for a bottle, I believe I imagine the smaller bottles because it's $1.
Right, not the 2-liter bottle.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy metric. They can get a can for 75 cents or a whole 2-liter.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's good to know. Good to know for all of our.
I will apply that logic throughout the rest of this episode.
For all our bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm. We have a door transition.
Oh, I didn't notice the transition here.
Yeah, it's very fast, but it's like 3 pieces. First, the 2 sides go up, then the top.
They do that a lot. They do the transitions with the objects falling or rising into place.
I feel like they get more complicated as the show goes on, but this is every time I see a transition and it pops out to me, I know you love them.
I do. It's great. It's good. It's good sitcom making.
So Kenan and Kel go back to the Rockmore house, and no one's there. And Kenan, this isn't important, but I want to focus on it. Kenan says, "Mom, Dad, Kyra." And I asked myself, wait a second, where is Kyra? When was the last episode that we saw Kyra in?
Oh, yeah. Was she not in? She wasn't in the last one?
She wasn't in the president one when the president came.
Oh, that was awful. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to that episode. It was so bad.
Sometimes we listen to the episode so you don't have to, audience. All our Fantas out there. Sometimes we'll take that bullet.
If you listen to an hour-long podcast and not a 22-minute episode, like, I don't know what is going on, but thank you for being here. Anyways,
yes.
Yeah, we haven't seen Kyra in a while.
Yeah, not since episode 7, Diamonds Are for Roger.
Oh, wow. Oh, so. she had a big role in that episode, too.
Yeah.
Maybe she had too many lines. They had to like give her a break so they didn't have to pay her too much. Anyways, so in this scene, we see a great dating of the episode, as in it would not quite fly in 2020 or 2010 or 2008. Anyways,
yeah, they listen to the Rockmore's answering messages, and this is the technology that becomes the focal point of the rest of the episode.
Yeah, the answering machine.
Yeah. Do you remember when we had an answering machine?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember Mom and Dad saying that like they would like pretend to call Santa to tell Santa like what I did wrong, and then they said that they got like messages from Santa on the answering machine, but they always listened before I woke up or something like that.
It has a flashing light in the device and all that stuff. It's yeah. So there's 2 calls. First one is from Kenan's grandma, who lets him know that he left his teddy bear there last time he was there.
Some nice laughs. It's pretty funny.
And the second one's an angry letter from Roger about how his boss is making him stay late, Mr. Dawson.
Yeah, how terrible Mr. Dawson is. How he is an idiot. How he doesn't know how to do anything. Yeah.
Yep. Kenan has finds his dad's address book, and they go up to what I'm going to call the best scene of the of the whole episode.
Might be one of the best scenes of the series.
Yeah, the show so far, definitely.
Anyways, like to set this stage, Kenan is looking for Mr. Rockmore's address book so he could have the number to the Dawson's house because, of course, he's madly in love with Amy and just has to talk to her.
Has to call her.
So we fast forward with the transition of a nice 1996 phone to Kenan's room, up the stairs.
And there he's like he's nervous on the bed. about calling Amy, and he wants Kel to practice with him.
So Kel walks over to the mirror, and Kenan is ringing the phone, which Kel's just gonna use a shoe, and so he walks over to the mirror. He's like doing his lipstick, and he's like pushing up his bra, and it's really funny. And then when he's ready, he answers the phone, but after it rings for a little bit.
Yeah, and then when he. As Amy, Kel plays out a scene where he's like, "Oh, hang on, let me get on the other line." Then he does. He's like, "Girl, you don't know who's on the other line, Kenan." And they has this whole really funny skit about it.
Yeah, that goes. It's really really good. It's just so rich. It's such a great Kel scene.
I love when they switch back to calling Kenan. Then he like poses on the desk. And he says, and he doesn't say, he says, "I'm back."
And Kenan's kind of just looking at him like, "Are you serious?"
Yes. So what does Kenan do?
Kenan says that they should go out on a date, like to a movie. To which Kel responds, "Oh, Kenan, you animal."
Yeah, what's even better is like when Kenan first like replies to Kel. Kel says, "No."
Oh, right.
He did the whole bit of just no. Yeah. So, "Oh, you animal," and yeah, he then Kel just goes on to just talk up the date. And he's like, I'm gonna wear my Daisy Dukes and a push-up bra. And
yeah.
Just all this.
I'm gonna dress pretty and have you all looking at me. And the audience is loving it. They're loving it.
I'm loving it too. Yeah. So then they hang up and Kel says, "I think you're ready." Which Kenan replies, "I think you're ready to see a psychiatrist."
Yeah, it's just a great back and forth. So what happens next is you can almost see it coming. Kenan dials the Dawson's residence, and it goes to voicemail.
It's a very angry, like upset voicemail, and it really like throws Kenan off. And what he does is he passes the phone to Kel to hang up, and Kel does not do that.
Nope. And
so they proceed to have a long, lengthy, insulting conversation about Mr. Dawson
and how terrible he is.
Yeah, I want to include the entirety of it in this right now in the episode, so that all the Fantas can hear verbatim what the message would be on the Dawson's answering machine.
We need this. We need this in the episode. Here it goes.
It's the answering machine. What should I do? I don't want it. No. Man, hey, why don't you just leave a message? I didn't practice leaving a message. Well, I think you better off. Why you want to date that girl? That dad's a mean, horrible jerk. My father's the one that think he's a mean, horrible jerk. You know? I mean, one time my dad said that Mr. Dawson was so dumb, he couldn't find his face with boom heads. Man, how can your dad work for someone who's so mean and dumb? Oh, man, Pop said he gonna have Mr. Dawson's job before too long, so he just waiting until he had a job. Right, Kenan? Yeah, Kenan. Hey, what's wrong, Kenan? Kenan, what's wrong, Kenan? Kenan, stop saying my name. Why, Kenan? The phone. You didn't hang up the phone. So? Everything we just said was recorded on the Dawson's answering machine. I'm sorry. I didn't. Oh, forgive me. Please don't fire my daddy. I'm so sorry. This isn't even Kenan. You know, my name is Fernando. Fernando Montalban. I don't even know nobody named Kenan.
This isn't Kenan. My name is Fernando.
Fernando Montalban. Cal just keeps saying his name, Kenan. Kenan,
Oh my gosh.
stop saying my name.
It's so the moment he realizes what has happened.
The look on his face
it's
is
so good. It's like I like this episode a lot because it's very low stakes again, right? Like it's not the president, it's not like
No.
global affairs, right? It doesn't try to do too much. It's just like, oh my God, I left a message. I did not want to leave. Like, what do I do?
Yeah, it's Kenan's dad's job lies in the balance, but you know they mishandled a plane previously,
Right.
so
It seems like a pretty forgiving position.
yeah. Unless that was like the first strike or what have it. But yeah, Kenan's face is amazing when he sees it. I also love when he picks up the phone after realizing it and he just shouts, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, it's a great
Please-
moment.
Please don't fire my daddy.
The same tone as why?
Yeah, no why this episode, but that'd be a good.
No, that was just the I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yep. Then we cut to commercial. Afterwards, Kenan has assembled a plan with how to deal with the situation.
He tells Kel to get a fresh answering tape because they're going to go over to the Dawson's house and they're going to replace the answering tape in their machine, which is a good plan except for the breaking and entering, and that Kel is involved basically.
It occurs to me now how many times Kenan and Kel have already like broken and entered into a place. Like they broke into the jewelry store. Remember that?
Oh yeah, easily, might I add.
Yeah. Not to mention the rooftop of the Sears Tower.
Yep, and plenty more to come.
Yeah. So we're on breaking entering number 3.
And you know what? We'll get there in a second. I don't want to give it away. So, anyways, we break and we enter. That's the plan.
Yeah. We arrive at the Dawson's house. They're away. But Kenan and Kel are. I love the fact that they like use this technology to a great degree in this scene because they look through the mail slot and they can see that the answering machine is still like blinking, so it hasn't been heard yet. So that's amazing.
Good plot device.
Yes.
Really good.
But they what's the first thing that they break is just the lamp.
Yeah. So Kenan tells, or no, I think Kenan gets on Kel's shoulders. No, the other way around.
Kel on Kenan's, like Kenan like makes the kind of what do you call it, like seat formation, stool formation.
Yeah, they're trying to climb into the window above the door, which seems like an odd place to have a window. But anyway, so then of course Kel kind of like accidentally falls and then rips the lamp off the wall. Mm-hmm. And then what happens next?
After that, they try reaching into the mail slot
To get,
like the door, maybe.
I guess, but they didn't say that really. They kind of just like, oh yeah, let's reach the answering machine, which is about 10 feet away.
Yeah, neither plan works. But what happens is Kel's watch falls off.
Kel drops his watch. Yes.
Yeah, they very just going from set piece to set piece. They very very much kind of changed plans on a dime. It gave me pilot vibes when they had an idea, then like shifted gears immediately.
Yep. So what Kel wants to do is he wants to get his watch back. So he says, "Oh, I'll take my gum, which is sticky, and I'll stick it on something, and then I'll stick it through the mail slot. I'll have the gum touch the watch, and then carry it up through the mail slot."
Yep.
Which good logic.
Yes.
But just that's not how physics works.
Yeah, you'd really have to get the right like shape, size. How does watch come off too?
It must have been so loose.
Yeah, like a really and hey, everything was loose in the 90s. Like loose clothing.
I guess, yeah. Kel's wearing overalls and a like an XL sweat jacket.
So yeah, understandable. But what do they find to stick in there?
A hose.
Yep.
So Kel sticks his gum on a hose, sticks it through the mail slot. This all makes sense. As they're trying to reach it down to the watch, we pan over to the thing that the hose is on, And of course, the faucet for the hose turns and begins to spray water all over the Dawson's first floor.
Yep, all over the place. Kel goes to turn it off while Kenan tries to pull it in, but it gets stuck somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah, I'll believe it if that's what they're telling me.
They
But, yeah.
the way, I mean, they show the inside of the door, and it's looped around the handle. Yeah, it's looped around the handle, but anyways, it's soaking the house.
I don't know, but I've found myself in a situation where, like, have you ever been, like, panicking and frantic and something like that, and then all of a sudden, like, you start, like, bumping into more things, and, like, and things around you don't seem to be, like, working normally?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
I could see that principle at work here. Kel does what Kel does, which is...
In thermodynamics, we call that entropy. Anyways, continue.
It's about chaos, correct?
Yeah. Things fall apart, right? Like everything falls out of order. Anyways, this is what's. Maybe I'll show this scene. For those who don't know, I'm a physics teacher. I'm gonna be one for 2 years. So I think I'll show this scene when I'm talking about entropy.
There you go.
Along with every Kenan and Kel episode.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the principle of getting worse and worse and worse.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, Kel does what he does and goes over to the faucet, which he somehow... You get... This happens throughout the show, but when Kel's panics, things just break around him.
Yeah, so the nozzle, or not the nozzle, but
knob.
The knob falls off, of course. And he doesn't think to screw it back on. He kind of just walks over to Kenan. Shows him what he did.
And they ultimately have to use hedge clippers to just cut the hose. But they throw the hose away. It's still like...
Yep, unaddressed. Yeah, there is water like pooling in their front yard.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Dawsons the next day discover this before like their neighbors did with like flooding or something like that.
Yeah, right. There had to be a lot of water coming. Anyways, so it's utter chaos.
And then, I don't remember how they came to this, but Kenan and Kel decide to sleep there?
They say something along the lines of, "Oh, we'll just wait till the Dawsons get back, and we'll figure it out then." And then they just fall asleep right in their front door, like leaning up against it.
Yeah. I want to know what kind of like parking situation the Dawsons have where they don't see they arrive at home through the back before even seeing their front door.
I don't know. I can't tell you, but there's this really funny scene where Kenan and Kel are just asleep on the front porch. Like Kenan's leaned up against Kel, and somehow they stay like that the entirety of the night. But you can hear the car doors for the Dawsons, and then you see the Dawsons come in through their back door, and then a really funny scene. It's this guy yells "newspaper" and throws a newspaper, hits Kenan in the head, and wakes him up. Which is great, and I've seen online there are
outtakes.
Like, what's that?
Did you see the outtakes for this scene?
Oh yeah, there's so many bloopers from this.
Yeah, because it would hit him and Kenan in the face, and then they would like laugh at Kenan getting hit in the face and ruin
really
the
funny.
scene.
Really funny.
It's not. I don't know if seeing that many outtakes. I don't know if the joke was worth it. Do you?
It really wasn't that funny.
Yeah, it's just.
Like, it was just another part of the episode, but I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, they could just wake up. They didn't. The sun's beating on them. It makes sense for them to wake up.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like the morning,
Kenan and Kel decide to reach back in through the mail slot, trying to get Kel's watch. Meanwhile, the Dawsons are like arriving back in town. I think they also visit their grandmother, but they see the water damage everywhere and assume that a pipe must have broke.
Yep. He is, like, his whole entire house is like saturated, like soaked. Like there's, like, they literally sprayed the paint off of paintings. and he's really, really upset about the mail being wet. He's like, "Oh, the mail's wet."
Yeah, it's true. That's funny.
Anyways, yeah, so he's like, "What's this watch doing here?" As Kenan's arm is all the way through the mail slot.
And starts grabbing Mr. Dawson. who opens the door and reluctantly, angrily invites them inside.
He actually doesn't invite them inside. Kenan asks, can I come in? He says, you're already in.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. So, then my favorite Mr. Dawson line is coming up through here. How Kenan's like, he's trying to explain himself. He says, what's the meaning of this? Kenan says, the meaning of what? Mr. Dawson, the meaning of you putting your arm through our door and feeling me.
That's a good Mr. Dawson.
Thanks. It's very close to my Roger.
Very, very close. It's just a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
a little bit more angry. Yeah, so first, I also want to comment on Mr. Dawson's haircut. It looks like if you looked at it from the back, like look at the back of his head, like looking forward, it would look like Momo from Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah, like there's just these giant, like there's these pieces of hair that go over his ear, but a good 2 inches above his ear, it's like shaved.
It's a weird look.
It's strange. Anyways, I just needed to comment.
Yeah. So then a really funny dual scene happens, where two equally funny things are happening. One, Kenan pulls all the Dawsons aside to try and distract him with a story, while Kel tries to replace the tape.
Yes. And Kenan's not only telling a story, he said he was going to tell them a joke. To which Mr. Dawson said, go ahead, make me laugh, in his James Earl Jones voice. And yeah, Kel is fumbling all over the place.
He's pulling out the tape, tearing it to pieces. And
I think Kenan started 3 different classic novels.
Yeah, I have a note here that's like a fragment of what Kenan was saying, and it is this broken. He said, it all started a long time ago when I was just a little thing. There was this one day, it was a dark and stormy night, or day, or evening, when I came to be on this earth.
He's telling his creation story.
Yeah, just nonsense intros, and then once Kel finishes, he's like, yep, okay, see ya.
And then they're like, wait, what about the story? It's like they're not really that concerned that there's just these 2 people they met one time.
Yeah,
in their house.
Kenan's always got schemes and stuff like that, so on one hand, I'm surprised he wasn't able to come up with something better, but on the other hand, it's like, that's perfect Kenan. He's supposed to have a plan, but he doesn't. It's
very, very good. Anyway, so yeah, they basically just...
They try to leave, right?
Yeah, they're on their way out.
But Mr. Dawson very reasonably stops them and, tells Kenan he's going to call his dad.
Right. And then, is it...
Kel.
How does... Kel says, oh, you should listen to your messages or something like that, right?
Yeah, you should listen to your messages first. And he's like, oh, okay, thank you. I don't mind if I do.
Yeah. And the first message we hear sounds a little familiar, because it is familiar. It's Kenan's grandma calling and telling him that his teddy bear is at her house.
Yeah, and we watch the slow realization on Kenan and Kel's faces as they realize what message is about to play next, and then we hear it in its entirety.
And it is one of, if not the most just cringy, awful moments of the show so far.
Yeah, we watched this with our sister, and she, who gets very stressed watching Kenan and Kel, was it's very hard to just stay seated normally watching this bit.
Yeah, she was anxious and oh my god, and which is a totally normal reaction. I mean, this is just awful.
Did you see the reaction of the Dawsons when this message went on?
They're all kind of just confused a little bit, or
yeah. Well, Mr. Dawson seems like almost physically flabbergasted by this, and his wife goes over to his side to comfort him almost.
Right.
But Amy, on the other hand, is loving it. She's all smiling and happy with what's going on. She's a big fan.
That's really funny. By the way, the actress who plays Amy, there is no way she's 15.
You don't think so?
She's like, let me see if I can find her. No, I don't think she's not on this list. But yeah, she's not 15. Anyways, continue.
That's pretty much the end of the episode. It almost looks like they cut something out at the very end, right? Like the scene was almost like a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, Kenan and Kel has become known for ending in the middle of the worst scene, you know, or the funniest scene.
Yeah, maybe in like in editing they realized that's like a much better like stopping point.
Very possible. Very possible. There was probably some quirky like him like Mr. Dawson chasing them out of the house or something like that, but we will never know.
Yep, I could totally see them like running from him or whatnot. So Amy is actually played by someone. It's weird. She's got her name's Mona Lisa the Ninth, or like that can't be right.
What? Is this on Wikipedia?
I'm on IMDb, and she's in a couple other soundtracks and stuff like that. I'm trying to look up her info right now. Oh, so yeah, when I googled for Mona Lisa, I got a bunch of different results. Believe it or not, there's this weird painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a. It's.
Huh. It's actually not that big, you know.
Oh, I heard that's. How big is it? Is it like an 8.5 by 11?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's that small, but I don't think it's very big. I don't think they measured things like that. Like,
yeah, it's probably in metric, right?
I don't think no. In 1,000 years, this will be the size of a sheet of paper. Actually, all paper was based off of the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is 2.5 feet by 1 foot and 9 inches.
Oh, yeah, that's real small.
That's
only
pretty
2
small.
feet.
2.5.
Yeah,
2.5 feet high. That's not big at all. Okay.
Yes, I've not learned anything else about Mona Lisa, but I'm sure she's got a wonderful singing voice by these credits.
Oh, I hope so. I hope she does.
Back in front of the curtains, Kenan's in his like fireman outfit,
His trash bag.
fireman trash bag outfit, and they are joined on stage by Amy.
Amy informs the audience that because her dad has been transferred to Alaska, she has to move.
Which is too bad. She kisses Kenan on the cheeks and says, yeah, sorry, I liked you, and I would have totally said yes.
Yeah.
to Kenan's anger. Oh, we should probably start with Kenan and Kel reveal that Mr. Dawson, before he could fire Kenan's dad, got transferred.
Yes. To which, our visitor Amy lets them know that they're moving to Alaska.
Yes. And Kenan, still in love with this girl.
Very much in love from the get-go.
Commits to chasing her down. So what does he tell Kel that they need?
Kel, get me some peanut butter, some snowshoes, and meet me at the bus stop. Because, that bus from Chicago to Alaska.
Right. And Kel says my favorite line of his from the episode. Kenan, I don't want to go to Alaska. Can't we just stay in America?
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
It is. That's so. Yeah. I thought. Yeah. Definitely an upswing from last week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, last week was horrendous. I'm sorry. I just really did not like that episode.
No, it's fine. We're the more that we watch, the more important it is to learn which ones are good and which ones aren't.
A real critic. I'm becoming a real critic.
Yeah, you're becoming a specialist in Kenan and Kel.
That's right.
So I've started to introduce some segments, and like it's the same stuff that we've always been doing, but I'm trying to come up with neat names for them. So, first I would like to say, I would like to ask you, Kenan or Kel? So, as per usual, the question is, whose fault is this episode?
Yes, yes.
Kenan or Kel?
Yes. It's really, it's it's Kel's fault this time. You know,
I have to agree with that.
You could talk about people behind their back. That's just human nature. But to be so careless as to not hang up the phone.
Yeah.
That's on Kel.
So
and also the replacing the answering tape, not with the new one, but with the Rockmores.
the one that they heard earlier that day.
Yeah.
Really
Really Kel's fault.
Kenan had some sins on his part where he disobeyed his father and he went as far as calling them, but as soon as he heard that angry message, he's like, you could see his reaction. He was like, I don't want this guy angry at me. No, thank you. And tells Kel to hang up the phone. And then he kind of wants to keep his interest is keeping his dad, letting his dad keep his job. That's where he's.
Which is good.
From.
That's good. That's a holy, motive.
Meanwhile, Kel has to get his watch back, breaks the lamp, breaks the faucet.
Not to mention why they're there why they're there in the first place. So totally Kel's fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that the first one?
Wow. So he's had some of the blame for a couple of the episodes. This is the first one where it's fully his blame.
The first of many.
Yeah, he is half of the tainting of the screw, most of Mo Sweater Blues, and a little less than half for Diamonds Are for Roger. So, Kenan's, it's mostly been his fault so far, but this might be, so as I was saying earlier, this really follows a format where Kenan gets them into a situation and Kel makes it worse.
Which is a great format.
Yes, it's the goal that the show is founded on. And I think this is the first one that kind of best shows that, top to bottom.
I agree. It's a very good episode. Very well-rounded.
Yep. Another little segment I'd like to have here. It's called Meet the Rockmores.
Ah, I like this.
It's where I keep track of things where we learn about the cast of the episode. And, little factoids about them. For example, last week we learned that Kel was afraid of airplanes, pancakes, butterflies, and braziers.
And Kel is not a Rockmore, but he's pretty much is. So
nope, it's just the name of the segment.
Okay. I like that. Good. What about this week? What did we learn this week?
Speaking of this week, there is a particular food that upsets Kel's liver. Which food is that?
I don't know. I must not have been paying attention.
The answer is peanut butter.
Oh, at the ending scene.
Yep, that's the very last thing they says. Now, that may be disproven later. He may be only saying that to...
I thought he said bladder.
Wow, let me check this.
I thought I heard bladder, but
you're correct. It's the bladder. So I will give you half credit on that.
No wonder it didn't sound familiar. Nice try. So Kel can't really do peanut butter because it makes him pee. It's a diuretic.
Absolutely. Yep. That's and nothing else. In the past, I've written down stuff about Aunt Bertha and Chris's mother.
Yeah. We will. We don't have to go back. That's just understood. So.
Yep.
Very good.
One last one here before we close out the show, and just a little something I like to call the Rigby's accounting department.
Let's hear it.
All right. As you recall, we only spent about a minute in Rigby's this week. But, do you want to assess the damages that were done this week? You have any idea?
75 cents?
75 cents for one can of orange soda.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's not bad.
No, very low stakes week for them.
Yeah.
But to the Dawsons, I listed them a moment ago. The water damage, broken hose.
Oh.
Broken faucets, broken lamp.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're doing their damage.
They did their damage in a totally different way this time.
Okay. So that's the final thoughts as we.
Well, we need to rate the episode, my friend.
Oh, of course.
We need to rate the episode. I would like to say that I would give this episode 8 bottles of orange soda.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. I thought it was really, really well done. Really fun. I compare it to other episodes in this season, and it stands up with them. I think an 8 is a generous offering. Really, really happy with this episode. It made me laugh, and yeah.
Yeah, that might be your biggest uptick from last week. But
What was last week was like 4.
5.
5. Should have been 4.
We can reassess later on. 8. That's actually just in line with the IMDb rating. So IMDb gives this episode a 7.6.
That's pretty good.
Ranked number 28, which kind of puts it high medium in the series. I'm with you. It's a really good one. I think I'm gonna give it a 7.
7's fine. That's safe.
Yeah, 7. Just because I know they get a little more explosive and better, and their antics inside the house in the second. The first half is very strong, and I think it carries the episode, especially that answering machine scene.
I agree. Yeah, really, really good episode. I hope you guys got some laughs out of it. We sure did.
Yeah, and you got some laughs out of our laughs.
I hope so.
So let's look ahead here. Are you ready for next week?
Let's see what's coming next week on the good old Amazon. Ooh, Christmas tides are here.
It's Christmas in July.
Christmas in July, as we record it. When you hear it, maybe it will be closer to Christmas.
Yeah, maybe it might be Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Kenan.
I am excited for this one.
This is a very beloved episode too. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good Kenan and Kel episode and a good Christmas one as well. So I can't wait for then.
Until next time, you Fantas.
Yeah, have a reach out to us. Let us know if you're liking the show. Leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and follow us wherever you find us. You'll hear the links after the episode. So thanks for joining us on this another wonderful episode.
Aw, here it goes. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you want to stay in touch, send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice message at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. Our social media accounts are all at KenanKelPodcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks, everybody.